Alrighty, guys, we are here again with the lovely ladies of 50 States of Madness. We are getting into more of the Chris Watts, obviously, deep dive, Watts Island that we can't walk away from because it keeps pulling us in
We're
because
stranded there.
we're stranded and we can't get off because there's so many questions that are still unanswered and we want to answer them. And the only way to do that is obviously, I think, Nichol Kessinger's interrogation properly investigated. The DA, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want anything happening to us, but we already know the DAR word needs to be left go and somebody else needs to come in and take a fresh pair of eyes on this case and reopen it. Obviously, I looked into it very hardcore. There is no evidence or any documentation that states that Nichol Kessinger is a protected witness or protected into the witness protection program. She literally lives an hour away from said location where she was before. She did change her name. She cut her hair. She's with somebody that's younger than her. I don't see that she has any children. But again, I'm not going to give anything into location because I don't want her harmed. I just want her interrogated properly. So I want to make that very clear. Um, People have asked also why do we keep doing this? Again, I keep reiterating this over. It's history. Obviously, we look at World War II and the Holocaust. We've looked at the Civil War. We've looked at things that happened overseas in the UK. Things are not going to go away. We're going to talk about it for years, hundreds of years, thousands of years. It's going to happen. So get off our backs because
Yeah.
we're just stating our opinion. We're not stating any harm towards the people that we're talking about. So again, not just myself, I guarantee with these ladies as well, we do this for educational purposes.
Yes.
We just want justice. We don't feel the justice is there. And that's why we do these videos. So the main focus of this video today, I didn't want to just do this myself. I wanted to include these ladies because I value their opinions as well. And with you guys at home, I value your opinions. So comment down below when we are talking about this. The DAR word, and his wife's channel, Surviving. I'm not gonna bash on it because I just I'm not a basher. I just want correction. And we've obviously looked at Behind Criminal Minds and the video that he posted not too long ago. I heard that he might have got it back up. I'm not quite sure. I'll look at it while we're talking, but a video was removed and my video was removed because of defamation. Because they didn't want their bad names and so forth. And then they removed their video. And the DA is stating that they got their main man, so we're not going to look into Nichol Kessinger. So they didn't feel that they needed to. But all this evidence that they had, they're like, we're going to put it over here, but we're not going to look at it.
They have
Why?
it. Yeah. I always wonder, there's so many people that work, the detectives, all the authorities, the whole police station, everybody. There's so many people involved in this. You mean to tell me not one person has questioned, like, we have all this stuff here. Why? Like, what are they being told is the reason that nobody's doing anything about this? What are their like what are their upper people telling them is the reason that she's protected? And what's the real reason that she's protected? Because I can't keep going back to the fact that her dad's a Freemason. I get that. And that does 100% get you out of a lot of things, like a speeding ticket or things like that. Does it get you out of, pardon me, stabbing somebody in the back? No. Does it get you out of, all the other stuff, DUIs and all this other stuff that she's continually overall her whole life, it seems like, has been protected. I find it hard to believe that her dad being a Freemason was her ticket out of all of this. I really don't. I mean, I think it maybe started there, but there's something else. There's something else.
Or like the jokes that DA Rourke, I'm just going to say his name. It's not like I'm slandering him or anything like that, but
No.
he's obviously stated, oh, apparently I was paid for $80,000 to keep my mouth shut. I mean, what if that lie or that truth is a lie. I mean, we can't obviously know, but I mean, he jokingly says it, like he talks about you and I and all of us YouTubers that are junior detectives sitting behind our keyboard and we're just playing detective and stuff like that. No, we just have common sense and we
Yeah.
can see the BS, including Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil literally said he sees all this evidence and yet none of it was used. I mean, we've seen million YouTube channels that have millions of viewers. We're not talking about hundreds or thousands. We're talking about millions of people that have
Yeah.
literally stated that this case is completely BS because they said, okay, we got Chris, we're done. We're not
I think
done.
no. Well, I think it's funny that they say like, oh, these junior detectives. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say I'm not even a detective. Literally, we watched the interrogations. We read some of the, I haven't gone through the whole
2,000 pages.
2000 pages, but you know, I've seen some of it. I'm so sorry. But so I'm not even going to put myself out there as a detective. It's just plain as day something's going on. You don't even have to be a detective. You don't even have to look at everything to know that there is something happening here and it's not right. And that
Yep.
that there's more than one person involved in what happened. And at the very least, they knew about it happening and didn't stop it. At the very least. So yeah, it's funny how they're like trying to say that we're all like sitting back there, we're all trying to find something. We're not trying to find something, it's right there in front of our faces. Why are you not doing anything about it? Why are you sitting on this
Exactly.
information? So
Why do you have the information and you're not using it?
yeah,
You put your hand on an oath to protect the Constitution and the United States of America plus Colorado, yet you're like, a bad guy is going to squeeze through here and there. It's going to happen. Is that okay?
oh, we got one of them, it's fine, you know.
We're okay.
And the
And
fact that they did it during that time, it wasn't even after the fact going back saying, oh, we should have done more. It was like literally you can see it in the during the interrogation of NK that you can see them not playing hardball. They were
Oh yeah.
tiptoeing around the facts. They were giving her the answers. They were kind of feeding her what they wanted her to say. And she was just kind of, yeah,
or
that's
her
what it
Not
dad
was.
was
only that,
interjecting.
not
Yeah.
only that, I was rewatching a couple days ago. I was rewatching like all of her questioning and just the way that she talks. A lot of people have commented about her, you know, that she uses the word like a lot. And she does. She uses it more than I had realized when I first had listened to the interview. So going back and watching it again, she really, really does. And they say that people use that word when they're lying or as a filler when they can't think of words to say. And I get it. It happens, and a lot of people just talk like that. So that might just be the way that she talks. However, if you just watch just everything, her demeanor, everything, she's so nonchalant about everything. It's just this whole, I don't care, I don't have time for this.
It's
um
annoying.
it is, it's just the more that I watch her and the more that I watch the way that she answers the questions, it's just, it's almost like she's incriminating herself but knows that nothing's going to happen to her because again she's protected.
By her father.
And
I
it's, yes.
I think I was watching one of your videos and it was going over like a little bit of the body language and stuff. And I think I might have even made a comment to you. You didn't get back to my comment. No, just kidding.
Sorry.
No,
There's thousands of them. I'm trying to get to everybody.
no, I'm just teasing. But I know that it's scientifically they're saying it has nothing to do with it, but I do think that people do kind of pause and look to the left or to the right, not necessarily to the right or to the left. You know how they say when you look up to the left or up to the right, it means you're lying. Not necessarily, you know, I was kind of reading about that in body language, but she does do that pause a lot where she's trying to think about what she's going to say. and she's trying to figure out how she's going to say it, and it's going to be something that she remembers when they ask her questions. And I do have to say, when somebody lies a lot, they don't like to give a lot of information, but two, she does this thing where she says, I don't remember. I don't remember. Oh, you're going to ask me about, I don't remember. How do you not remember? Like, to me, I remember what I was doing when 9/11 happened. We remember very significant things in history. I remember where I was during the Northridge earthquake. I remember where I was when I was in 11th grade with the Whittier earthquake. Things that happened that are that significant. You're going to tell me that your boyfriend murdering his family is not a significant enough event in your life that you're not going to remember where you were?
Or with 111, the phone call that was 111 minutes, that she doesn't have any clue what they talked about.
I don't know what we talked about.
2 hours with somebody, you don't know what. Oh, we talk about a lot of things.
I still remember phone
everything.
calls I made
Name
with my
one.
exes.
Yeah, name one.
You can't tell me you don't remember, or if it was just random stuff.
Yeah.
Random stuff about how to cover up a murder.
Yeah.
Because they literally said on this one video I just watched, which I'm gonna hopefully shout them out as well because they shouted me out. Because I'm gonna watch their video tomorrow. I haven't watched them yet. Just everybody's been mentioning me saying they shouted you out. But 720 podcast, which I looked into as well. Just wanted to make sure that it was valid and so forth. Chris was only out there for 38 minutes.
Yes, that's what they said.
Because apparently there was a sensor on that gate that goes into the location. There's a sensor. So once you trip the sensor, like a timer starts.
Right.
And then when it's closed, then the timer goes off. There's no way in 38 minutes that man dug that hole.
Nope.
Buried her, took his daughters up there, murdered them, put them inside the batteries, did whatever he probably did at the end, and then left in 38 minutes.
And threw up.
And threw up.
And
which
threw
was
up.
not DNA tested because we don't know whose throw up it was. They just said that they found throw up out there. I'm telling you, I've been on the toilet longer than 38 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that he did all that in 38 minutes.
38 minutes goes by very fast when you're doing like when you're very active and to even dig a hole, unless it was, I mean, I'm going to devil's advocate, unless it was, because he was thinking about doing it. Let's say if he was thinking about doing it, maybe the hole was dug beforehand, but I don't think so. I think he did have the help. Like we said, there were 2 different sets of footprints there at the crime scene. There was more than one person there. Somebody was helping him.
Yeah,
and
there's no
this
doubt.
was the rendezvous where Nichol and Chris did their schnooky besides going to because when Shanann was still home before she left and so forth on her 6-week stay with her family and so forth, they went out to survey 319 or they went to her house. Well, obviously, like I said before in other videos, that place was scheduled for demolition in September.
Yeah.
But it was later demolitioned in December because of the whole situation that took place. But that's why we started to believe in more that it might have been something with Anadarko, because they dropped him off in October or August. They thought they were going to be able to demolish this place in September, causing everything, all the evidence to be gone. But of course, Nicole Atkinson got a hold of this and blew it out of, or not blew out of proportion, but blew it up and became a hero, because this case could have gone unnoticed if Anadarko would have destroyed it.
Imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but then why didn't DA Rourke want to go out there?
Yeah.
That's another thing. If you're going to want to look at this case and dissect every single thing, you can't just look at photos and be like, yeah, okay, that's it. You're going to go out to the house. You're going to go out to the location.
Which is exactly why I'm very, very mad that they demolished the Idaho 4 home.
Exactly. Why did they demolish that? Oh, because it's an eyesore. Screw your eyesore. That place should be under.
When this trial's over, Do what you got to do. You need to keep it
Yes.
there until it goes to trial.
Did they demolish Gettysburg after the big war?
Right? Yeah.
No.
There's something that I wanted to just get your opinion on, and maybe I haven't heard anything. Was Nichol Kessinger ever questioned about her phone records? Because so the day of the murder, her phone pinged there in Frederickson, right? By the Watts house at like 6 something in the morning.
The only time.
Then she was off the grid until 2:30 something that afternoon. But then going back and looking at all of her previous phone logs, she was actively making phone calls every day, every hour, whatever. So did anybody ever question her as to where, like, why the no phone calls and why
They
everything?
I don't think they did.
They didn't, because they said they didn't have to, because Chris confessed. As soon as Chris confessed, they dropped everything.
They shut everything down.
They said they didn't have to. I mean, he tried a little bit when the dad was in the room, but the dad shut it down when they were interrogating. Like, they kind of alluded to some of the things, like trying to, what is that? Like trying to get more information as to why or whatever. They did try to push back on her on some of the questioning, but the dad stopped it. And then as soon as Chris confessed, then it was like everything shut down. Well, they already got Chris. They don't need to look into it.
They were actually being questioned at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
And so once Chris, they're like, okay, just be done. We got Chris. Chris said he did it. Just don't even waste more time. It pretty much comes down to also budget. Apparently they only had a certain amount of budget to do this. But if they did, it's like, I'm so sick of hearing about budget.
How do you
guys
budget for murder? Like,
it's, well, exactly. But like they said something about, what was that? There was a company that they use to like look into like blood, Blue Star, I want to say it was, whatever. And they didn't use it because they said wasn't in the budget. But yet this company was free. They're like, we'll come out and do it for you guys. And the DA Rourke, once they found out that Chris confessed, they're like, no need, we're done. Bring them out, they're free.
yes.
And then found out later on, they're like, yeah, maybe we should have used it. It's
Yeah.
like, use it if it's free.
Yeah.
Or like the people that were sitting inside the building. They're like collecting all this evidence or something like that. That was on Chris's side. And then people that were for the DA, they came inside and nothing was taped off. No one had booties on. It's like, what are we doing? Like, why isn't things taped off? They didn't have those little yellow markers that said 9462.
Yeah.
Where are all those?
The evidence markers. Yeah, no, it was just like an open crime scene.
It's like us three could have walked in there and be like, yeah, we're here with this person. We're just looking.
Yeah.
Just checking things out.
Yeah.
And apparently DA Rourke went to the house a couple of times and just didn't really look at things. He was just there with his team. The team did the work. And he's like, well, we've gotten like millions of messages, and it would take his team of 54 people or whatever days, if not weeks, if not months, to comb through. It's like, why would you have to comb through it when they're just stating that you need to do your job, open up the case and look at what we're telling you? And he's
that's
like,
your job, is to comb through evidence. That's your job. And if you're there at the house, why would you just sit back and let your team do it? If you're there, why wouldn't you participate in that?
And he makes it sound like he doesn't get paid enough for it. The DA makes quite a bit of money, if not almost $300,000 to $400,000 a year.
Yeah, that's your job. And that's your job, is to do that.
I feel like, though, also, if they reopened the case, they'd see a lot. You'd be able to see a lot of the errors they did. And maybe it's going to have a poor reflection on their department and the team. And so therefore, that's why they don't want to reopen the case. You're going to look at it and comb through it and see that They dropped the ball.
there's a lot of mistakes, and they're like, oh crap, if we open this up, they're gonna see all
Yeah.
the stuff that we did wrong.
Well,
Yeah,
not
I
only are there
looked up-
mistakes, but mistakes aside, they're gonna see all this evidence that was never brought to the table.
Inconsistencies.
That's just sitting there. Now the statute of limitations has passed, correct? So she can't be charged with anything. Is that right?
I don't think there's a statute of limitations on murder, is there?
Somebody commented on one of our videos, and
Might be different from state to state.
but they had said that on one of our videos, something about the statute of limitations, and she can't be charged. Like they cannot reopen this case and charge her with anything.
You can't be charged for something
think,
that wasn't investigated.
No, that's in civil. Hold on. Colorado statute of limitations. Felony charges such as murder, kidnapping, treason have no statutory limit on filing charges. I didn't think there was any limit on
Yeah,
murder.
I don't think there's any limit either.
I don't think there's no statute of limitation on murder. She can be pulled in 20 years from now, 25 years from now, if the evidence is there.
But even that too, she was interviewed. She wasn't interrogated. She wasn't looked at as an accessory. They used her as a protected, or it's not protective witness. They protected her name until this all came out, because those interviews didn't come out till what, almost 2 to 3 years later.
Oh yeah.
So they were protected for a little bit of time, but the reason why this is blowing up is because we saw the interviews, we watched the interviews, we've looked at the papers, and now all of us that are watching these are like, this is complete bull crap.
Yes. And the fact that people are calling out, you know, like these armchair detectives and blah, blah, blah. Let's just go back to the Gabby Petito case. A YouTube channel are the ones that found Gabby Petito's van.
Yeah.
So maybe
they drove by it and were like, did you see this?
So maybe they're thinking like, oh, these people are doing my job better than I'm doing it. Are they feeling threatened by, you know?
And it's not like we're sitting doing nothing and we're just watching these. I have a job. You both have a job. We're doing this on the side and we're not getting paid for it.
Nope.
We're just determined. We like reading. Well, to an extent. I like that one guy. There was a case. I can't remember if I told you girls, but there was a case where these two were doing adultery on both sides. They didn't want to split up because they didn't want to lose the kids. But this one girl had a red folder and it had all these notes in there about her ex or her husband. And he found it, literally snapped. And he says that she committed or was going to commit suicide. But she was it all got down to it that pretty much he was protected through the police officers. But there was a truck driver that took their case on pro bono and saw all these different inconsistencies. He's the one that found them all, not the police officers, not the detectives. He's the one, a lone truck driver that has tons of time in between driving and being at the truck stops. He took it upon himself. He has the notebook now. He has the phone. He was able to get all this stuff permission by the victim, because she was shot in the head twice. I don't know how if you or try to kill yourself, you shoot yourself in the head twice.
Oh, wow.
And he's going through all this stuff and he's like, dude, this man, the husband, he is saying he's got a lot more to say than what we see. But he's an armchair detective because he's doing this on the side. He's not being paid for it. He's doing it pro bono. So we're doing this pro bono because, again, we see the inconsistencies, and through all these, the phone calls, the messages, the interviews, and we're like, did the cops and the detectives do their job? No.
We're like, it's not adding up.
We're not saying we're professionals. We're saying we saw problems. Can you please redo this?
Can you look at it and do your job? That's all we're saying.
It's like bringing a burger and saying, hey, you made this burger wrong. Please remake the burger.
Yes.
Are there any petitions out there or anything to get this case reopened?
Yes, I literally have a friend of mine, not friend, but a person that watches my videos. Her name is Pamela Thompson. She had done a beautiful job in the petition wordage, and literally we are at 2,000 signatures right now,
Oh, oh,
Oh my
awesome.
God.
which I'll
Put a
post in the
link-
links below. So if anybody's
Yeah,
watching from
post
my
them.
channel or
Yeah.
your channel,
Yeah.
we're literally trying to open this up. I was going to do a petition, but she beat me to it.
I
So
wonder
I'm
how
giving
many
her.
signatures it takes to get it reopened.
I've seen lots, but for us to state that there is 2,000 people that right now currently want this open, I'm gonna bring it back up again.
Yeah, and not necessarily a petition won't necessarily
Do
it doesn't
anything,
make
but
them open it. They can't, they're not forced to. I mean, we can have 1,000,000 signatures. They don't have to do it, but it does let them know that there are people behind here wanting them to do it, and it puts a lot of pressure on the department.
it's not just one person that says it. It's
Yeah.
thousands of people. We just hit 2003 or 2003. 160 people have signed it. So it's obviously with people that want to look at it. We try to get it out there, but it's not just you guys, myself. It's thousands of people.
Oh,
That's what
it's a lot of different YouTube channels out there that have covered it and that have sat down and said this is wrong. Like you can find so many, not just you, me, our channel. It is like literally hundreds of channels that have covered this case and said, wait a second.
Yeah, because it's not, it
Crazy.
doesn't, yeah,
Like,
it doesn't take a
we're not
rocket
making this
scientist.
up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're not the outliers here. We're not the ones, the extremists. We're not the crazy ones on the side going, look over here, we're trying to make something out of nothing. This is something that literally so many people are saying is wrong. And so many people are saying that it needs to be looked at, in this DA needs to get his head out of his ass and just start doing his job, or get somebody else in there that's going to do it. I'd be pissed if I lived in Colorado and these are the people that are representing me. And if something happened to me, God forbid, and this is how you're going to treat it, like that's ridiculous.
he acts like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's like,
So-
I have my family. My family is safe, but we did what we could with this family. It's over.
Somebody
We got
confessed.
Chris. Yeah, we're good. I got paid still. We're done.
Yeah. He's behind bars, so we're good, right?
It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Like we're all
DA.
supposed to be, yeah, we're all supposed to be content with the fact that one person's serving time,
Yeah.
as opposed to everybody who was involved being punished.
I mean, Gypsy Rose, she persuaded her man to commit the murder. She served 7 of her 10.
Yeah.
Nichol Kessinger, guaranteed, we can't say this for 100% certainty, persuaded her man, Chris, to commit murder. But you can't tell me that Chris just woke up one morning and was like, you know what? Murder is the best idea. He had to been talked to about this. Like,
Of course.
hey,
Of
Nichol
course.
Kessinger was like, if you don't get rid of them, we can't be together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure she manipulated them and used them. When she's in there going, oh yeah, work with your wife in North Carolina, but yet she's sending him pictures and
Yeah.
Nude
God, her
photos and giggly, weird.
Oh my God, those
Voicemails.
voicemails?
It makes me
What is-
sick every single. If I
what
had
is
a girlfriend
wrong
that
with
did
her?
that, I would
I mean,
throw up.
you guys really like that?
No, I'm a man. I don't like giggling. I want a woman. I want a woman that's gonna be a woman and not a child.
I'm like, that is just
It was
disturbing.
worse. That was worse than baby talk when you hear it. It was
Yeah,
like,
Lick your
that is-
face. That's-
thank you. It was,
Yeah,
it's almost as if, and this is how I saw it, just from a woman's point of view. It's almost as if, because if she would have just left a message saying, hi, it's me, give me a call back when you get a chance. Chris can always lie to Shanann saying, oh, that's a coworker, I got to talk about business. If she ever accidentally heard it. This is a woman who wanted, if Shanann ever got a hold of that voicemail, to know that she is sleeping
Something
with
was
her
going on.
husband.
Yeah.
she had
that-
no craps given. I think she enjoyed, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was with my ex-girlfriend back in the days of high school and college and trying to make out with my girlfriend or do some stuff with her behind my parents, it kind of got a little adrenaline.
Yes.
Guaranteed she loved the adrenaline. She loved
Oh,
sneaking
yeah.
around. You love trying to sleep with somebody in the office or sleep somebody within the car, knowing that their wife or their spouse is somewhere else and you could get caught. She
Yeah.
liked it and she didn't care if she got caught.
Oh no, she liked the power because at that point she felt like she was better than Shanann. He's choosing me over you. I am better than you, and I want you to know how much better I am than you.
But then got pissed when she went to their house and he had stated that he had to go do things with, and then she's like, wait, I'm not the most important. I'm
Yes.
gonna have a fit like a child. And she saw
Yep.
that she might not be able to get all of Chris. And that's when she's like, I need to alter this or I'm never gonna get this man.
I need to put up ultimatums, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, it's either me or, I'm not going to continue in this relationship if they're still around. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably how it happened, and for her to listen to her talk and for her story to go like it basically in circles about her not knowing her name. Like, I didn't even know her name.
I call so much BS on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yet you were Googling her a year prior. Like that, like there's so much stuff. There's just so much out there.
and I know how the DA came out and said like, oh, that was a typo. And they're saying, nope.
No.
It came
It's
back
not a
and said,
typo.
nope, it's not a typo. It's absolutely, they got that information from her records. That date came from her records.
Why is it that
Oh.
she's immediately deleting text messages all of a sudden? She's deleting phone calls all of a sudden. She's destroying her SIM card. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
She's Googling how long
And
they
the
can
DA
get
was
it.
like,
Can they get the information?
and the DA was like, we don't see anything that could be a red flagged at all. Are you
Mhm.
kidding?
Yeah. And
She
for
has her hand in the cookie jar, and you're telling me her hand's not in the cookie jar while it's doing it?
yeah, for her to say all of these things and say that, I never had any intention. I told them, we were probably just better off as friends. And then you're going to turn around and Google wedding dresses.
While he's gone.
And how, like, will my boyfriend leave his mistress or whatever it was that she's Googling? Like, her stories don't even make any sense.
Yeah.
And
They
then
just make no
her
sense.
interviews never helped the case.
Never.
No,
No.
none of it.
Oh.
Nothing helped. They're like, well, the DA was like, she cooperated. She was helping us out with what?
With what?
Yeah.
Her dad
Having you
controlled
run
that
around and-
interview.
Having you run around in circles and question everything she's saying, like,
And then, or
literally,
like people
how
have
did it
been
help?
saying about like she did this. How would you know that if you didn't meet the daughters?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She's like, they're this tall. Why would you do this if you knew how tall they were?
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, okay, they're probably normal size of toddler, but why would you do this and then be like,
That's a personal, like when you do stuff like that, that's a personal memory, a personal experience.
Core memory.
That is a memory. So yeah, I
Like,
don't.
she's been next to them.
Yes.
So yeah. So what is happening with this channel that the DA's wife has? It's not on anymore, or is it still?
It's still on. So I'm looking at it right now. I did look at Behind Criminal Minds. His video has not been reinstated. That was taken down because of copywriting. Let me see, sir.
And just for clarification, because Gina and I are new to this stuff, this podcasting, YouTubing. When you have a video that has a copyright strike, are you obligated to take it down, or is it you just can't monetize from it and you can still keep it up?
You
Or
can
is there different types?
so it's been so with it saying it's demonetized, you have to remove it. Or you have to remove it for the time, and then you can fight it, but until YouTube looks at it and sees through all that, you can't put it up.
So YouTube will tell you which videos you have to take down.
Yes, with what the person has stated that using your videos for some sort of thing, so violence or copywriting, or and what he had stated was it was removed because of defamation, because they didn't want their image to be taken wrong.
Yes.
Now, what is this channel about? Like, what is it promoting, or what are their stories about?
What's the DA's wife's
Apparently, it's
channel
true
about?
crime, so they talk about other crimes, but they literally brought their husband. The wife is the
Yeah.
main squeeze. She brought her husband on to talk about the case when he says he didn't want to talk about the case anymore. He said he was done, but he did it for his wife. Went on there and talked about it and literally said blonde hair, little girls doing cartwheels, and which they didn't do. They were 3 and 5 years old,
They were too little. Yeah.
and talking about their blonde hair. They didn't have blonde hair. I mean, everything that came out of his mouth through this podcast, which I rewatched it today. It was an hour long. They were joking, they were laughing, they were talking about us being armed detectives and giggling about it. This is a serious matter. And yet, the video that they had with DA Rourke on there is not on there anymore. But their
Don't you
channel
think-
is still there.
But I mean, don't you think that they should know? I mean, maybe there's some people that just don't get it, but wouldn't you think that that would cause some controversy if my husband was the DA on a case like that, and I'm gonna bring him onto my podcast
To talk
when
about
there's
it?
so much controversy going on? You don't think that's gonna create some sort of an uproar?
It's a circus of uproar is pretty much
What
what it
did
did.
what did she think was gonna happen? What did he
And then she
think?
got mad because people were calling them out on it.
Well, and the funny thing is, to me, I'm looking at it going, okay, technically you're calling us out and saying, oh, we're armchair detectives, but technically, isn't that what you're doing too?
Same
Like
thing
literally the wife is doing the exact same thing.
that everyone else is
talks
doing.
about true crime. She has a podcast on true crime. She brings her husband on there talking about a crime. Are you not doing the same thing? Even though with this particular case, you're not tearing it apart like we are.
I'd
And
be
you're not
curious. I'd be curious to watch her channel and see the stance that she takes on other cases.
exactly.
And
Well, the funny thing
how
is
it-
she has no other cases. Like right now, I'm looking at this video. This YouTube channel was like, she just made it this year.
Oh,
Joined the 20. Wait, hold on. She joined a year ago.
okay.
Joined January 29th of 2023. So she
Okay.
joined YouTube, but she's been doing podcasts on like Spotify and Apple
Yes.
TV, and was like, you know what? I might as well add these podcasts to my YouTube. So she did. And the only video that she did was Chris Watts. She goes beyond, the channel states, going beyond the true crime headlines with this one of a kind podcast. Well, one, you're not a one of a kind. There's thousands of them out there. Join the cast of her and her friend, Surviving Guide to True Crime, an interview style podcast where survivors tell their stories with purpose and ethics. How is the DA a survivor?
so
Yeah.
she's interviewing survivors of crimes, basically,
Yes.
right?
And there's one video, and there was another video, which was the video we talked about, the podcast. And now the only video that's on there is introducing the survivor's guide to true crime. That's
So
it.
is it still up on the podcast platforms?
Let me
Is the
see.
YouTube channel been pulled only, or is the audio still up somewhere?
Episodes.
I'm just curious to listen to it to see what other cases she talks about and
Well,
her view of all these things.
Because technically, that's
Like,
what
what's her
we
take
just
on
yeah.
these?
We retell stories. We're doing the exact same thing. We retell stories. The only time we call out BS is when there's like blatantly something that is wrong with the case, like we just did with our Erica Alonso, where no one's been, charged with Erica's death. So like that's the only time that we ever state something, like we are not boots on the ground investigators. We talk about it. So to me, how is her channel any different from any of ours out there where we're talking about it?
Yeah, it's not. She probably feels that hers is different because of who her husband is.
Yeah.
She thought she could get away with it.
Yeah, that's her one of a kind podcast right there.
I'm sorry, you got Gil Garcetti, not Gil Garcetti, who was it? Gil Carrillo. I always say that, Gil Garcetti.
We did not have Gil Garcetti on our podcast.
We did not have Gil Garcetti, Gil Carrillo, with the detective on the Night Stalker. So does that mean that our channel is like, oh yeah, we're just,
yeah, we're a one of a kind.
We're one of a kind? No. A lot of us get people on and we interview them and we talk about these crimes for the information out there, like we said, for educational purposes. So I'm just curious why she thought like having her husband on there would probably be like, I don't know, no big deal. Like, I guess I don't
Either
understand.
that or she thought that it was going to make her channel blow up.
Yeah.
Well, she saw the potential in views.
Yeah.
And of course, and then looking at it right now, I'm looking at her actual podcast. The video is gone. The podcast is gone.
Her pod.
I don't see it.
I'm sure her husband had her remove it, or someone higher than her husband in the state of Colorado.
I'm looking at each case.
What is the name of her podcast?
Survivor's Guide to True Crime.
I would think it would be a conflict of interest for her to have a true crime channel with your husband being the DA.
It'd be, big, huge conflict of interest.
But because I would think that she would have some inside information on certain cases that she can actually talk, like, potentially talk about before they go to trial or anything, like where it can actually be detrimental or corruptive to a case. So I would think
he can't too. Like, he has no business going on there talking about it.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
Because I would say maybe the case is closed on Chris Watts, but I don't think the case is closed.
Yeah, no, that's
closed.
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bringing up a case like this, that there's so much controversy over, especially right now with everything that's going on. How would you not think that this is just going to blow up? Like,
yeah,
and not do well. This wasn't going to go over well.
I know. How does she not know the backlash wasn't coming?
Doesn't make any sense why that wasn't thought out.
So they reworded it.
Okay.
So instead of being Michael Rourke as the title, it's Chapter 11, prostitutical fictitious trauma with Michael Rourke. That's not what it said before. But they're talking.
Did you screenshot it from before? Like,
I didn't, but I saved the video before so I could re-upload it in the future. But it's been reworded, it looks like. It's the... Where did that go?
I'm just curious to listen to it to see what he has to say.
It's 95 minutes.
Because nothing completely disappears from the internet.
Oh, of course.
Once it's on the internet, you're screwed. It's there forever.
It's there forever.
It's episode 11, or chapter 11.
Please send that to us.
I will definitely do so. Because I know I listened to it the other day, and I listened to some of their other ones, but they kind of jokingly talk about these like it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's like we're joking about their job not being properly, but we're not joking and laughing about the case.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
like they think it's funny that they dropped the ball, or that people are looking into what part of it. I'm really interested in knowing what part of it do they think is funny, you know?
Hmm.
I feel
So
like
That,
they feel like they got away with something.
or they're just not, they just did their job to like a 10% and they got paid
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
the bare minimum. How would you like it if your surgeon did the bare minimum?
Yep.
You know, like
Exactly. We're just gonna remove like half of your appendix.
yeah,
You
you're
won't be in pain a lot. It's just gonna be a little bit. We're not
And then
excruciating.
don't come after me if it hurts. I
Yeah,
did my
you'll
job. I did my
survive.
job.
my
a little
airline
work.
pilot did the bare minimum. The airline mechanics, like Boeing, did the bare
Yeah.
minimum on screwing in the
Yeah.
bolts.
The window will fly out,
Exactly.
but the door won't.
I know. I don't want the bare minimum for
It,
anybody's job. I want
it's
the
a
job
joke.
done right. So that's funny.
Especially the amount of money that they're getting paid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But
Ridiculous.
Plus, they
yeah,
signed an oath. Like when I went to war and stuff like that, I signed in or I put my hand on an
Yeah.
oath to defend the Constitution, all foreign and domestic. And I didn't state that I was going to do it here and there.
yeah,
Exactly. Whenever I feel like it.
So
the bare minimum. I'm gonna wake up, show up, dress up, and that's it. The bare
Yeah.
minimum.
that's pretty much what they're playing. They're doing what the bare minimum.
Bare
We're not
minimum.
going to
Yeah.
go exceed the expectations of this case. We're just gonna we got our man. We're done. We're over with, and we're just gonna leave it at that. For the people that are watching, don't look into it. We're done. We're just not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
What you say is not going to change our minds.
And it just still surprises me how fast he came out to say that they weren't even looking into her. Like literally days. The next day,
Quick.
what was it? That he came out and said, "We're not looking
Done.
at her. We're
And
done."
the case was done within
The case was
what,
done.
4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never hear stuff like that.
That's the fastest. That's the
It takes
fastest open and
months.
close case. Yeah.
Yep. You
So-
never hear that happening.
Especially on the murder of 3, 4. You know, 'cause
4. Well, even in the podcast, he goes a triple homicide. There's 4. It's a quadruple
4.
homicide. Well, because the child wasn't born, it's not
Doesn't
important.
matter.
That
That
baby
makes it
had a
even worse to
heartbeat.
me. That makes
Yeah.
it even worse to me.
It is worse. That baby had a heartbeat. That baby was alive. That baby deserved to be born, and yet it was taken away because he wanted to get his jollies off on a new woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
So
Well,
Ugh.
this case is definitely not over, and I'm hoping that one day we will see.
we're not done.
No, yeah, I'm hoping one day we'll at least see them even do more than just question her. And it might not ever be where she serves jail time or anything, but at least get
We
the
know what
de-
she did.
yeah, dig into it. Just at least look at the records that were, deleted, and the photos that were deleted, and the text messages. Let's do the timeline. Let's follow, the electronic trail of where she started, where she ended. I know that we see it, but we just present it to her and say, "Hey, why were you here at this time, here at this time? Why is your phone pinging here and here?" You know?
Not
I
give us the
can't wait,
wraparound.
I can't wait till the day we wake up to the headlines like
Oh, I can't wait.
Nichol Kessinger's case reopened, or like opened, like she's questioned, like
I'm
she's
hoping
found, like
one of
yeah,
these days. I mean, look at Tupac. I keep bringing it up, but it
It's a
took
truth,
what,
though.
30 years, and we finally got Tupac's killer has been found and brought forward.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a
it's
matter of time.
yeah,
And if she's
it-
not punished in this
Hopefully
life,
it's not after
be
Nichol
punished in the
Kessinger's
next.
death.
yeah,
I'm sorry. What was it?
I said if she's not punished in this life, she will be judged in the next.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
hoping it's before,
Yeah.
because like with Tupac, everybody's passed away except for the one guy.
Exactly.
yeah.
Like, I'm
Hopefully, it's in
hoping-
our lifetime.
It's
So-
before. Yeah. Nicole
And I
Kessinger.
hope that, and I really hope that, like, if and when this all happens, that Shanann's family is still alive to see that justice was served for them.
Because
Because
Nicole,
it's
I know they don't want us to keep rebringing this up, and they don't want us to re-traumatize. We're not trying to re-traumatize them. We're not showing them the pictures of their loved
No.
ones being gone. We're literally nowadays all we're talking about is Nichol and the DA.
Yeah.
That's literally what we're talking about. And I'm hoping that they'll see that we're not doing it to traumatize them. We're doing it because we feel that their loved ones still deserve justice because
Yeah.
Nichol was involved.
Yes.
And we want them to be held
1000%.
accountable.
1000%.
For sure.
So hopefully that's why I'm hoping never to see that Frankie or the parents are like, you need to stop. We're done.
Yeah.
That's why we respectfully state that we're doing this for educational. We're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to
No.
cause pain or suffering. I mean, I don't honestly think they're going to have full closure.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you ever do when stuff like this happens.
And they literally said in that one interview that Frankie literally stated, he's like, he was a brother to me. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Like they're talking so good about Chris, but then when you look at Rodney and Cindy, they're talking nothing but crap about Shanann.
And
Yeah.
thank you. It's horrible.
So, but I think we're going to leave it there because I think we're going to be cutting off here time because you guys obviously have time to do with your families, your works and so forth like that. So I think we're going to cut it to a close. If you
Yes.
guys have not gone over to 50 States of Madness and taken a look at these ladies' channel, they're doing things all over the board. I'm going to bring up their channel again. Hold on. 50 States of Madness. They are so close to 3,000. So go over
Yeah.
there, give them some love, subscribe, comment, like, and share. They're not just doing this case, like myself. I mean, I'm starting to open up other cases because I don't want this to become completely redundant, but they do have other cases. They are talking to other YouTubers and other people as well. They do have a video that just got posted not too long ago, which I will be wanting to look at as well. The mysterious death of Erica Alonso. Did I
Yeah,
pronounce it right?
we interview her sister.
So definitely go over there, give them some love. It's only 152 views, which it deserves more views.
Yeah.
No,
So
definitely, especially for that family, because
they need closure. They don't have any closure yet.
they don't. And the sister does reveal some things that hasn't been out in public. So, and she has told us some of the things that other people have reached out to her to tell her about the case. So she does talk about that a little bit. So yeah, please go over
They
yeah.
do have
give her a
they have a
lesson.
GoFundMe also that
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're trying to raise money to hire a private investigator to get this case looked at
Well, they're
from
almost there.
different
Thank
angle.
God. They're
Yeah.
almost at
Yes.
$10,000. So for my
Yeah.
viewers, give them some help. I know you guys can definitely can help these guys out because the woman did not deserve this.
No.
And
It's a
that's
really
that's what we do these for.
Yes.
So, but again, thank you guys for your time. We surely
Thank you.
appreciate you watching. Again, ladies, it was a pleasure talking to you guys about this.
Always.
We're probably not done. I'd like to look into other cases with you guys, Gabby Petito and that Brian guy, that the Ohio murders. And I think we should do another video on one of those cases.
That
So.
one,
Yeah,
for
sure.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So again, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the
Thank
next
you.
video. Take care. And as always, subscribe, comment, like, and share.
Thank you.